Hi, I'm Campbell Sutch. This is Mind Bite Thursday, your weekly dose of the human edge in technology. This week, talking to strangers. Does the idea of talking to strangers make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? The good news is most people do feel uncomfortable with talking to strangers. Why is that? Well, it's the unknown. We're not sure where it's going to lead, and then probably most importantly is a lot of it's come from our childhood. Our parents tend to have taught us not to talk to strangers, be fearful of strangers, watch out for strangers, take care when you're around strangers. Drives it in pretty deep when you're young, and that's highly likely the reason why you feel uncomfortable talking to strangers. So if it's uncomfortable, why would you do it? Mark Granovetter, back in 1973, undertook some groundbreaking research, and what he found is there's two key types of ties. There's strong ties and weak ties. Strong ties are our family, friends and colleagues that we spend a lot of time with and that we know really well. We know how they think and how they feel, and we know most things about them. Then there's weak ties, which are the people that we know a little bit. Maybe we've met them once or twice at an event or a function or a party. We know a little bit about them, but not very much. Turns out the weak ties are the real key for bringing in new information, new ideas, new connections, new opportunities to take you in places where you'd never thought to go before. How do you create a weak tie? Well, one way, and a powerful way, is to talk to strangers. So how do you go about it? Well, first of all, recognize that it's probably going to be uncomfortable and you're going to feel a bit nervous. Secondly, if you put the focus on the other person, it does three really good things. First of all, it makes them feel really good. Secondly, it helps you to learn some stuff about them. And thirdly, it takes the focus off you and how you're coming across, which makes you feel a bit more relaxed, which makes everything flow a little bit better. So what do you do? How do you approach it? The idea is to be relaxed and open, stand with an open stance, not arms folded, certainly not hands in pockets either. It tends to close you off and make people feel separated from you. Smile, nodding, eye contact, make reasonable eye contact. When they're talking, you be looking at them most of the time. When you're talking, I don't know if you're like me, but for a lot of people, it's difficult to talk and look at someone at the same time. It seems to impact the thinking process. So as you can, and look at people while you're talking, but recognize that might be a bit more of a challenge. So 60 to 70% eye contact's a good thing to go for, relaxed and open. So how do you go about starting a conversation? The key is to go in with a mindset of curiosity, ask questions, open-ended questions, and then listen to the answers. If you can go in with the intent of, what's one thing I can find out about this person, or something that they do that I find fascinating or interesting, it's a great goal to have, and it'll make your life easier. Where do you start? The environment's a fantastic place to start. You're at a social event, a charity event, at a supermarket, is it a work do of some kind? Look around for something in the environment or someone that's there that you can use to initiate the conversation. Then ask some questions and listen for the answer. People love to talk and they love to be heard. In fact, the research on brain research that's been done shows that talking about ourselves activates the same regions in the brain as eating great food and having sex. Can you believe it? So you've asked the open-ended questions, you're looking to find the key thing that you can find out about them. Other things to think about are look for commonalities. What have you got that's in common with that person? And ideally more than one thing that you can find, which means more questions you'll need to ask. The other thing is to state an opinion, or to state something that you think, or make a comment about something, and then ask for their opinion. It helps them to feel heard and listened to. Once the conversation starts to move and flow, and you're feeling like you've got some rapport, a great acronym to remember to ask some questions about some other things is FORD, as in the Ford motor car. FORD is F for family, O for occupation, R for recreation, and D for dreams. About their family, are you married? If they are, do they have children? If not, do they have a partner? What are their interests together? Occupation, ask them what they do to spend most of their time during the week, and they may not be working, so it's a good question not to necessarily assume that they do work, and then ask them how they got into whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's a charity or whether it's their occupation. Recreation, what do they do? What do they love doing outside of work? And you can ask questions into that. And then dreams is something that you might want to leave just for a little bit later. Their dreams, hopes and desires are a great thing to find out. Really helps to sort of uncover more of the person. A great question to to ask about that is, what are your big goals for the next 12 months and what's exciting you about the next 12 months? Then you've had the conversation, it's gone on for 10 minutes, maybe time's just flown, it could be half an hour. At some point it's time to wrap up the conversation. One of the things to note during the conversation is if you keep an eye on their feet, just occasionally you'll see that if their feet are pointing, where their feet are pointing is where their brain wants to take them. It's pretty unconscious, subconscious. Their feet are pointing towards you, comfortable to carry on with the conversation. If their feet are starting to point away from you or out towards the exit or the door, time to recognise that they're probably thinking it's time to go, wrap up the conversation and move on. And you can just say, thanks very much, it's been great talking to you. So something to think about, recognise that building and connecting, your weak ties, connecting with strangers is a fantastic thing to do for opportunities and ideas and thoughts and solutions to problems. Recognise that you're going to feel nervous, put the focus on them, ask questions, follow up and listen deeply to them. Ask the second question based on the first question. Look to take the conversation a bit deeper with the FORD acronym, the FORD idea: family, occupation, recreation, hopes and dreams. Hopefully something to make you feel a little bit more comfortable to move forward. That's Campbell Such Mind Bite Thursday for this week. Over and out. See ya.